Night settled over Naples, the city alive with whispers of crime and power. In a high-rise office overlooking the harbor, Don Vittorio Leone, the most feared Mafia king of southern Italy, lit a cigar. Age 44, eyes like obsidian, hands that signed contracts and death warrants with equal precision. His empire ran silently, a network of fear, loyalty, and ruthlessness that no rival dared challenge. Yet tonight a letter arrived, delivered with trembling hands. Inside, a name written carefully. Isabella Conti, the girl who had unknowingly entered his world. Vittorio studied the letter, intrigued, irritation flickering across his sharp features. She was young, rebellious, dangerous in her innocence. She had challenged a minor lieutenant, survived and reached his attention, something rare, almost impossible. The next morning she appeared at his office unannounced, eyes wide, defiant, yet betraying a flicker of fear. "You summoned me?" she asked, voice firm but quivering slightly. "I did not," Vittorio replied, voice low and commanding. "But now that you are here, we speak." Her heart raced, aware of the man before her, power and danger wrapped in one. He motioned to the city skyline, the harbor lights reflecting in his dark eyes. "This world will try to crush you," he said. "And yet, here you stand. Why?" I don't know," she admitted, courage mixed with uncertainty. Vittorio studied her silently, noticing every twitch, every glance, analyzing, calculating, intrigued. Days passed, and Isabella remained under his reluctant watch. Her presence unsettled the empire, the men unaccustomed to defiance from the weak. Yet she carried herself with a strange confidence that even Vittorio could not ignore. One night, a minor attack occurred at the docks. Isabella had been near the target. Vittorio arrived silently, neutralizing the threat before anyone could react. She watched, fear mingling with awe, realizing that survival depended not only on him but on understanding the rhythm of his empire. He began to test her, subtle challenges designed to gauge courage and loyalty. Every day, Isabella learned more: maps, operations, hidden threats. Yet her innocence and moral compass challenged his cold calculations. Vittorio noticed it, irritation turning slowly into fascination. "She does not fear me," he thought, "and yet she could destroy me in ways I do not yet understand." An unexpected storm forced them to stay in the office overnight. They spoke quietly, sharing stories of past betrayals, losses, and hidden dreams. For the first time in decades, Vittorio's cold facade showed cracks. Isabella realized that beneath the fearsome exterior was a man shaped by loss and loyalty, ruled by principles even he could not betray. Outside, the city thrummed with life, unaware of the silent war between love, power, and survival unfolding above. Another threat arrived from a rival clan, intending to kidnap Isabella to leverage Vittorio. He prepared the defenses quietly, anticipating every move, ensuring she would remain unharmed. Isabella watched him, realizing that the man who could kill with ease also protected with an almost tender precision. Night fell, and the attack came, swift, deadly, neutralized before it could escalate. Her admiration for him grew, tempered by fear and awe at the dangerous world she had stepped into. Vittorio found himself increasingly drawn to her spirit, defiance, courage, and a strange ability to pierce his heart where others could not. Days turned into nights, and the bond between them deepened, a delicate dance of power, trust, and unspoken fascination. A rival lieutenant attempted to manipulate Isabella testing Vittorio's reaction. He watched silently, calculating the right moment to intervene, letting her experience the danger without crossing the line. She survived, strengthened, learning the Empire's pulse and her place within it. Vittorio realized that she was changing him, softening his ruthlessness, challenging decisions long made without conscience. A stormy night brought a sudden confrontation with another rival. Isabella stood beside him, unafraid, ready. Together they neutralized a threat, an unspoken understanding forming. They were stronger together. Vittorio's hand briefly touched hers, not command, not threat, but connection. She met his gaze, feeling the weight of his empire, the burden of his loyalty, and the stirrings of his heart. The city slept below, the Mafia unaware that a quiet revolution was unfolding in the top-floor office. Rising sun cast light across the harbor, illuminating a new alliance, dangerous, fragile, and destined to change everything. Vittorio's empire remained feared and untouchable, yet the girl who had entered his life had begun to rewrite its rules and his heart. Morning sunlight pierced the blinds, reflecting off the polished floors of Vittorio Leone's penthouse. Isabella stirred awake, heart racing from the night's uneasy silence. Vittorio stood by the window, cigar in hand, eyes scanning the city like a hawk. She approached cautiously, aware that one misstep could undo everything. He noticed her presence without turning, voice low. "You are awake? Good." Days passed in tense quiet. Isabella learning the rhythm of the Empire, every map, ledger, and hidden passage memorized. Vittorio began to include her in decisions, testing her instinct and courage. She surprised him repeatedly, making choices that saved lives and altered plans subtly but decisively. A sudden alert sounded. Intruders attempting to breach a warehouse tied to the Leone operations. Vittorio's eyes darkened. Every detail had been anticipated. Isabella followed silently, heart pounding as shadows moved through the corridors. With precision, he neutralized threats before they could act, his movements like a shadow among shadows. She realized she was no longer merely a witness. She was learning the unspoken language of survival. Afterward, they stood on the rooftop, rain-slick streets reflecting the city lights below. "You are adapting quickly," he said, voice low, almost approving. Isabella swallowed hard, understanding the dangerous intimacy growing between them. A rival clan sent a message. Isabella's life was to be leverage against Vittorio. He studied it silently, calculating every possible outcome, the weight of his empire pressing down. That night, an ambush came, precise, brutal, but anticipated. Vittorio and Isabella moved in tandem, neutralizing threats before they reached the penthouse. She no longer trembled. She acted with awareness, courage, and understanding of the deadly rhythm surrounding them. After the attack, Vittorio examined her, fascination flickering in his dark eyes. "You have changed this world," he said softly. "And me." Isabella felt a shiver, not fear, but the recognition of her own power in his life. Days turned into nights filled with lessons in trust, loyalty, and subtle strategy. Rival lieutenants tried to manipulate her, testing Vittorio's reaction. He allowed her to navigate these tests, strengthening her resolve while observing silently. One evening, an encrypted message arrived, a plot to kidnap Isabella and challenge Vittorio's authority. He read it, expression unreadable, mind calculating the safest path forward. Isabella sensed the storm, her heart racing, yet she did not falter. Night fell. and the attackers came shadows moving under the moonlight. Vittorio and Isabella worked in perfect unison, neutralizing threats with precision. She realized fully that she was no longer just protected. She was a participant, a force within the empire. Afterward, Vittorio's hand brushed hers, deliberate, tender, unspoken. The bond between them deepened, respect, trust, and the beginnings of love. A quiet moment on the balcony, rain falling gently, the city asleep below. He spoke softly, almost to himself. "You have softened the coldest parts of me." She looked up, heart racing, understanding that love had entered a world built entirely on fear. Rival clans remained, threats unending, but their unity had become a silent power of its own. Isabella's courage and insight began to influence decisions, her presence changing even minor operations. Vittorio noticed, impressed, yet cautious. Affection had never guided his choices before. One final test arrived, a direct threat to Isabella, meant to force him into a compromise. Vittorio anticipated every move, neutralizing the attack before it could escalate. Isabella stood beside him, unafraid, finally recognizing the dangerous balance of power and trust. They watched the sun rise over Naples, golden light spilling across the harbor. Her hand found his, firm, protective, yet gentle, a promise of loyalty, love, and survival. The underworld whispered. The Mafia king had been changed, not by fear, but by the courage and heart of one girl. Vittorio's empire remained feared and untouchable, yet Isabella had rewritten its rules, softening the coldest heart in Naples, and forging a bond that could survive the deadliest world.